You guys remember this blob, larger than the size of Texas, that was seen in the Atlantic Ocean? This was at the beginning of April, and they said that this was the result of a modeling error. Well, guess what's back?
The 33rd parallel has most of the world's banking?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
That's insanity.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
Yes, sir. My tricker. Back up in this thing, man. Today, we'll be breaking down some creepy videos that have the internet at a standstill. Let's get it.
Boeing whistleblower Joshua Dean has died suddenly after accusing his former employer of ignoring safety issues. His death comes 2 months after former Boeing quality control manager John Barnett took his own life. Before his 45-year-old Dean was fired from his job as quality auditor for Spirit Aerosystems, who made the door plug which blew out midair on an Alaska Airlines flight in January. Dean spoke with NPR after being fired, saying, "I think they were sending out a message to anybody else. If you are too loud, we will silence you."
The fact that they were both whistleblowers could just be a coincidence, but the odds of that happening in such a short time span just seems extremely low to me, especially after the year that they've been having so far. I'm worried about the rest of the whistleblowers now.
You guys remember this blob, larger than the size of Texas, that was seen in the Atlantic Ocean? This was at the beginning of April, and they said that this was the result of a modeling error. Well, guess what's back? As of last week, April 25th, you're seeing this same blob reported in the same exact location. Take a look, it's back.
This is what we saw a couple of weeks ago, this strange anomaly that appeared over here deep in the southern Atlantic Ocean. Again, there's something else down here showing significant waves. Once again, we're going to step this forward 3 hours at a time, go up to 8 a.m. You can see the waves are still there, showing some sort of a disturbance, anywhere from 52 feet up to 63, 75 feet. We're going to step it forward another 3 hours, and you can see this is taking on a different shape. It's turning into what looks like a giant V, to where this last one back on the 9th stayed basically the same shape on its journey from the southern Atlantic Ocean up towards the southwest coast of Africa, remaining much like that the entire way. This thing here, as you're going to see, spans out a couple thousand miles.
So what could this be? This can't just be a modeling error. It's reoccurred now. It's happened twice. Will it happen again? Let me know in the comments.
I believe this is actually the third time we've seen this anomaly, because it first popped up on radar back at the end of March, so they've had ample time to correct this if this is just a simple modeling error, unless they're testing some new underwater HARP technology that can create 80-foot waves, and if that's the case, then we're cooked.
There's a conspiracy going viral all over TikTok about a time traveler caught on camera. He noticed a man enter the backyard of his property, and he called the cops because he thought someone was about to rob him. But strangely enough, it looks like he was looking for something and then ultimately ended up walking into his shed. The homeowner wasn't present because he uses this as an Airbnb and lives pretty far away. So he proceeds to call the cops, and they went ahead and checked the shed, and he actually communicated with them using the Ring camera.
Was he not in that shed?
No, he was not. There's nobody in there. Both sheds.
What the?
This man proceeds to show all the timestamps from the moment someone was detected to calling the cops to throughout the night. And then something suspicious happens. The next day, someone leaves the shed, but it wasn't the same guy. And this is when the time travel conspiracies start. Someone walks out the shed, looks at his camera, and we get a good look at him. The weird thing is, the guy that walked out the shed looks like the guy that walked in the shed, just a little older. My thing is, I know these cameras glitch a lot and they don't pick up everything, so I don't know if I can entirely believe this, but it is weird that someone walked in and a different person walked out. This man stated he lives 5 hours away from his Airbnb property, and when he goes back, he's going to put a camera in the shed. So I'll be sure to keep you guys updated if he releases anything, but let me know what you guys think.
The person who posted this could have just set all of this up to go viral, but I don't think he would contact the police if that was the case. If it turns out that he has an actual Einstein-Rosen bridge in his shed, then NASA or the Vatican or some other agency might be coming to commandeer this property soon.
nó tới bị chịu nó nhưng mà cái mà chả ít chuyện nhiều này đào thổ này cái khai phá cái ít thổ nhà chạy thế nào lại vào cái hả chả nhiều này cần vào cái
If that hell is real, then China's weather modification program is built different.
You take a look at the Statue of Liberty as well as the painting that Jacob Rothschild has on his wall of Lucifer. I mean, they look identical. So, I mean, there's just so much occult and esoteric mixed up with the state of New York. I mean, it's like even Washington, you know, what they call Washington, D.C. today was at one point it used to be called Rome, Maryland, and it was owned by a guy named the Pope. And yeah, it's and there's 7 hills in Washington as well. So I mean, it's like there's so much occult mixed up in the United States. But yeah, there's a lot going on up there in New York.
Yeah, you've got the 7 hills of in Rome. Capitoline Hill is only one of them. Capitol Hill, obviously, is a they've just have taken that cult, a Babylonian cult, and moved it, separated it into Britain, into Washington DC, and the Vatican, obviously. But it's all there.
Just looking at the similarities between the architecture, the city plans, and some of the systems in place, it's pretty clear that America was modeled after Rome. But of course, Jacob Rothschild will have that painting in his house. I feel like that was his patron saint.
Look at that streak across the sky, y'all. It's 2:48 in the morning. What the is that? This is a long streak across the sky here at 2:48 a.m. I'm just getting home from my gig at Swig, and I noticed this up in the sky. I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing like that. No rainbow, nothing like that in the sky at night. In the early morning, wee hours of the morning. What the is that? Okay, y'all. Feedback? Tell me what's going on. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Okay, y'all? Okay, let me walk back to my car and get my home. But yeah, that's what's going on in the night sky here, out here at Park Merced, early in the morning. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got that on film.
My best guess is that this is the Aurora Borealis, but I've never seen it in person to be able to confirm that. It looks like the real life Rainbow Road from Mario Kart.
This is a robot made out of living cells. It's an animal robot, or xenobot, only 1 millimeter in size, but it can walk across a petri dish on its own. And the way that researchers made it is wild. They started by building simple computer simulated creatures out of building blocks that either contracted or didn't. Then they tested billions of combinations of those blocks on a supercomputer to see which would walk the best. Eventually, once they had a few winners, scientists spent hours performing microsurgery on a day-old frog embryo to mimic the model's shape. Now, robots made out of living cells are controversial, particularly when the robots can self-replicate. But the reason many scientists want to do this research is that if we can build these robots with specific abilities, we could potentially use them to do things like hunt down cancer cells or repair damaged tissue. It's all very complicated and huge if true. So if you like this kind of optimistic science and tech stories, follow for more.
This could be a huge medical breakthrough if they're actually going to be used for non-nefarious purposes like she just mentioned, but I would be too worried about them traveling up to my head and rewiring my brain, so I'm out.
Ain't no way, bro. Look at this avocado. We can't even trust the food out here no more. That avocado don't even break. Like, bro, I'm not even gonna be able to chew that. So why even sell it to me? You know what I'm saying? I saw a banana like this the other day too.
It looks like it has the same consistency as rubber. This might be one of those new appeal avocados.
Doing some research on the New York City subway stations. And it's interesting because they said that the subway stations were founded in 1904 and they opened in 1905. So they were found, that's what founded means. They were found in 1904 and they opened 1 year later. They didn't build them. They just took ownership of these tunnels that are deep underneath New York City. And it's interesting because when you look at all of these tunnels, you sit there and think, okay, you go up above on the street, you got horse and wagon and all this stuff roaming around, but you're building these massive tunnels cutting through the earth. Take a perfect example. Go outside, get a shovel, and see how far you can go in the earth, especially in a time around the 1900s where it's very challenging to do that. There's no construction photos. There's just like 4 people standing in front of a tunnel saying that we built it. You would think if you did the first subway ever that people are blown away that they could go in, you'd have photos galore. But you only have one photo of 4 people standing in front of a tunnel saying that you found or founded the tunnels of New York City.
I'm starting to feel like whenever one of these old buildings is said to be founded, that's exactly what they mean. They stumbled across it, found it, and just slapped a new sign on it, because these stations look much more advanced than the stations we have today that were built with modern technology.
Strange things can be caught on video sometimes, but nobody will ever believe you if it wasn't for the video. You tell your family and friends, but nobody seems to care or trust that this actually happened. This video that I'm going to show you next was captured by Ivy Collins. This might seem like a picture to you guys, but it's actually a glitch in the Matrix. The woman that you're seeing here is actually stuck in time, but Ivy is able to record this terrifying situation.
No, literally.
Wait. Babe, stop cussing. Wait, she's not moving at all.
That's what I'm saying. What is going on?
This is the moment the woman is able to regain motion back again. And this is truly one of the most bizarre videos I've seen of Glitch in the Matrix so far this year. Have you ever seen something like this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this is actually a hoax or actually a glitch in the Matrix? It seems like these events are becoming more common in 2024. What do you guys think?
What?
This could be a glitch in the Matrix, or maybe she just took something super strong that has her frozen in time like this. This is an interesting choice of costume for a choir. They look more ready to conduct a ritual rather than sing hymns.
And the very first recipe for beer, at the British Museum, that's where it exists, is on a Sumerian tablet. And it says that the great god Anu, they're talking about the Anunnaki and these beings, they bestowed the recipe for beer onto mankind. And they gave us the recipe on how to brew hops, or how to, do the hops to make the beer and all that, ferment the hops and all this stuff. It's all on ancient tablets. We didn't invent beer. It was given to us. The knowledge of how to make it was given to mankind. Something you can actually go travel and see that tablet with your own eyes. Crazy stuff. This is why I like this stuff. It's pretty interesting. What we kind of think we know about the ancient past, based on what we learned in school, is not even close to true reality. And to me, could some of this text be, based on the person's own perception who wrote it and etched it? Yeah, of course it is. But I think that the further back you go, the closer you get to real information. You're never going to get 100% of the information, because it's people that are making these texts. But when somebody goes through the trouble of using a stylus and a wedge in wet clay and turning it into stone so they can last through the ages, and we're talking about thousands and thousands of years ago, we're getting as close we can, as close as we could possibly get to the actual facts.
If this is true, then the Anunnaki deserve a Nobel Prize for leaving us this recipe, because it's 2024 and we still chugging.
Even real flavors? Oh! But it's not just burgers. Get a bag of chips, right? Get a...
Chips of one. I got crickets right now that are sour cream and onion. Are you telling me that's not real?
Those could be real. Those could be real. Okay, so you get a bag of chips, or you get, anything from the cabinet, basically. And it's been processed so much, because it has to sit on the shelf for 10 years, that it has no flavor. So they have to figure out, get sued.
Everyone's watching this podcast eating chips for fast food.
It's not just chips, though. It's everything in your fridge. It's everything in a can. It's everything in a box. Not to get preachy, but literally it's every food on a shelf, because it has to be processed. So they add. So, for example, if you're eating a strawberry jam, it tastes like nothing. And then they add fake strawberry flavor to it to make it taste like nothing. It's crazy.
I didn't know it tasted like nothing. I think they were adding a lot of things, right? Chemically made, right?
So, I feel like one of the main reasons why artificial flavors and preservatives are added into grocery store products is that they're cheaper than using natural ingredients. And I don't think these mega corporations care too much about flavor as long as they hit those quarterly numbers.
The 33rd parallel has most of the world's banking?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
That's insanity. Why? What are the chances worldwide they all chose there?
Because 33 is the number of influence. Just like there's certain lay points all over the earth, and you have pyramids all over.
So you're the first person to know about this. This was hard to find. The ley lines, energy points that crisscross the world. Correct. And that's where car accidents happen, on the crosses. And they would build churches on certain ley lines.
But mostly pyramids. All the pyramids in Giza.
Why?
All the biggest pyramids in the world are not in Egypt. They're in Bosnia. They're under the ground.
That means they've never picked a hill and said, go build a temple of worship there. They would pinpoint where to build.
Yes. And is that the same for big NFL game, Super Bowl? Super Bowl, it's more about the halftime show, more about the influence the kids to be a certain way, the propaganda. If you look at the halftime show, it's always some... And then it's doing it's always some... So I think that's like one of the best ways for them to brainwash society.
If this is the case, then the human race is regressing because the ancients used to take time to pinpoint the perfect location to build temples and pyramids, and today all we care about is the perfect location to build a bank so everybody can be in more debt.
Okay, I don't know what this is, but this is freaking me out. I bit into this apple and kept biting, and it was delicious, really delicious, until I got to that. What is that? Okay, there it is. Wow, that was inside the apple, and it's just rotten. Blech.
I know when he took that massive bite, the last thing he expected was to get a GMO surprise.
It cuts Drake's soul. It's like he signed his soul to the devil to not be cool with me, to have to, like, this is his job to go against God.
Wow.
And it cuts his soul. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucy.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucien.
If Drake and Taylor Swift, among many other prominent artists, are all signed to Lucien Grange, then he not only has music industry influence, but influence over youth culture in general. So I want to know what his agenda is, especially since he was mentioning that Diddy lawsuit.
Another thing that they've been talking about is programmable liquids. So we just don't have xenobots. We don't just have nanoparticles flowing through our bodies, our liquid nanoparticles. So you guys check this out.
Picture this. A liquid that's not just any liquid, but a substance designed by the brilliant minds at Harvard. A substance so advanced, it's stretching the boundaries of what we thought possible. This isn't a mere concoction, it's a programmable liquid, a revolution in technology that's here to change the way we perceive matter. Imagine a liquid that you can program to change its properties at will. A substance with tunable springiness, adjustable optical properties, and variable viscosity. A liquid that can shift between behaving like a Newtonian fluid, flowing like water, and a non-Newtonian fluid resisting flow. This liquid is a matrix of elastomer spheres, tiny orbs that range from 50 to 500 microns across. They populate the liquid and give it its extraordinary properties. This is a substance that bends at the will of technology, a testament to the leaps and strides we're making in the scientific world.
Reminds me of the Plumbus X.
A science fiction movie, but a reality we are stepping into. Welcome to the era of programmable liquids. So, what exactly is this programmable liquid?
Well, there it is. Harvard develops intelligent liquid that can be programmed.
So clearly none of these scientists ever watched Terminator 2, because if they figure out how to mix this programmable liquid with artificial intelligence, it's a wrap for us.
This thing is literally 3 football fields away from me. I just watched it go through Westy. Don't know if I got any footage of it going behind the nursing home. Man, that thing goes clear up in there.
This tornado season is already off to a wild start. I've never heard of a rope tornado.
Did you know that the world's largest tree is actually in America? And no, it's not in the redwoods. Not only is it the world's largest living tree, it's the world's largest living organism. The Pondo forest is made up of a single tree. It has 47,000 stems, which each look like individual trees. They all have the same DNA, and they all share the same exact root system, which spans over 100 acres. This article says it's around 12,000 years old, but it could range all the way up to 80,000 years old. And we know that there are tons of secrets housed in national parks and on federal lands. And this just kind of adds to those questions that I have. How many organisms like this have humans destroyed? Is Avatar telling the truth when they talked about the big tree of life? This tree itself might actually be able to give us answers. Scientists are now starting to record and document the different sounds that are flowing through the leaves and the roots of this system. While it started as art, they see an enormous potential for use in science. The wind is converted into vibration and travels through the root system, which could also reveal the inner workings of Pondo's vast hidden hydraulic system in a non-destructive manner. I can't help but wonder if this discovery will lead to more, as we know that this type of fungi basically connects every living organism on Earth. There's a network of tiny threads that wrap around tree roots and different roots of different species in order to allow all of these different plants to communicate. Do you think it's possible that scientists could one day tap into this?
A single tree that spans over 100 acres might prove the giant petrified tree theory. I just hope a mysterious wildfire doesn't come in and destroy it before they can finish the research.
Did the US Navy make a ship disappear based on dangerous science theories that were unpublished by Albert Einstein? The Philadelphia experiment was an alleged event that occurred at a United States Navy shipyard in Philadelphia on October 28, 1943. The US Navy attempted to make a destroyer escort class ship, the USS Eldridge, disappear. According to witness Carl M. Allen, an ex-merchant mariner, a destroyer escort was successfully made invisible and inadvertently teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, and back again. Witnesses claimed an eerie green-blue glow surrounding the hull of the ship before it disappeared. The ship's crew was supposed to have suffered various side effects. Some went insane, and others developed mysterious illnesses. However, some were said to have been fused together with the ship still alive, but with their limbs sealed to the metal. It was later confirmed that the ships did have classified devices on board, but they were not invisibility cloaks nor teleportation devices designed by aliens. Instead, they scrambled a magnetic signature of ships, which provided protection on radar, essentially making them invisible.
I don't know if there's any declassified documents or official reports that can confirm this, but maybe this is what happened to Malaysian flight MH370.
That's the that's the lie, that they're from Mars. Look, space, the atmosphere is really well monitored, right? Both for military, for defense reasons, but also because, like, it'd be nice to know when asteroids are coming. And there's no evidence, has never been any evidence that there are lots of these objects, these vehicles coming into our atmosphere from somewhere else, some other planet. There's no evidence of that at all. So they're from here, and they've been here for thousands of years, whatever they are. And it's pretty clear to me that they're spiritual entities, and they've been here for a long time. And there's a ton of evidence they're under the ocean and under the ground. So, yeah.
They've tracked that? They've tracked things going 500 knots under the sea?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on underwater, and a lot. And there's video of these things coming out of the sky into the water and also emerging from the water.
If this is true, then maybe this is why they want to get humans to Mars so bad. They want no parts of what's in the ocean.
They have certain forms where they appear in the mind's eye of the magician as weird things like a head of a toad, a head of a man, and a head of a crab, legs of a spider, legs of a man, all joined together. That's like a calling card, so you know, I've now summoned, say for example, Lord Baal. And at the magician's command, they will take human form, but it's a twisted human form. Saxa Gotha clans and the Saxa Altenburg clans started to say that they were descended from King Solomon, who is one of the most notorious magicians of the Judaic system. And he wrote many books telling you how to communicate with the Kilipoth. And in the official genealogy books in London, you can see that the royal family of Britain, the Buckingham Palace, claim that they are descended from King Solomon. So these tombstones are a very important archaeological discovery. A farmer was ploughing a field, and he found all of these altar stones. Some of these are gravestones, some of them are altar stones, and they're all altar stones from the Roman Empire, put them all together and buried them into the ground in one field, as if they were embarrassed about these horrible demons that the that the Roman Caesars will worship.
From what he's describing, these demon creatures that can take on a human form might be where they got the skinwalker myths from.
So 3 months ago, I changed my phone plan from Verizon to whoever I got now. And they sent me a bill in the mail. Let's start off with what I had on the phone plan. I had 2 iPhones and 2 Apple Watches. The Apple Watches I thought were paid off, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, $200. My phone, there was $600, and there was a free phone. So let's say I broke a contract, $1,000. Okay, let's just give them a. Let's just be nice and say $5,000. Okay. It is humanely insane to say maybe even $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Okay. Let me read this to you. Balance due as of this date: $439,092,988.
He needs to get customer service on the phone ASAP, because for $452 million, he might as well just buy Verizon. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.